I can configure here like first of all host name SW1, and here also label I can correct here SW1, here will be SW2, and here if you see we can write here like I can write show interface status. Here it will show the status of the interface. If I write like show interface switch port, we can see here which interface. I wrote show interface switch port. When we write show interface switch port, it will show you the interface status. If you see here, this is a F0/1. It will show F0/1. Whatever interface is available, it will show all the interface, because I did not give him particular interface. This is F0/2, F0/3. So now we are interested to see the F0/1. This is here. If you see, we are using F0/1 now. We connected the F0/1 only. So we are interested in F0/1 only. So if you see what is a name here, F0/1, the interface which we are checking this detail, that interface is F0/1. And if you see here, the administrative mode is dynamic auto. So by default, all the CISCO switch is having the administrative mode is dynamic auto. If you remember what we told, if you have auto both the side, then it will not form the trunk. So here you have auto, and here you will get auto also, because by default it is auto. Dynamic auto we are calling this one, dynamic auto. So if I check the other switch also, if I log into this switch and if I check here to this interface, we can write here enable, and you can just do the basic configuration. We will write switch 2, and I will cross check here. What I will check, I will write show switch port interface, show interface switch port, press enter. If you see, we are connected F0/1, this one. And what is administrative mode here? Dynamic auto. If you see both the side, you have done dynamic auto. Now I am inside the switch 2. I am inside the switch 2. If you see here, dynamic auto is there. If I log into the switch 1 also, dynamic auto. So as per theory, what we told, when you have the dynamic auto both the side, it will not form the trunk. You remember, right? Just now what we told. Example, I have here dynamic auto. Yeah, dynamic auto here, and here also dynamic auto. So they will not form the trunk. So we can verify. Just you can write here how we will check the trunk. If you remember, we write show interface trunk. You can press Ctrl Z. If you want to exit that mode, write show interface trunk. Press enter. Press enter. You can see nothing is showing here. We don't have any trunk here, because here also dynamic auto, here is also dynamic auto. Then it will not work. So what I can do here, I can go in the global configuration mode. I can log into this interface, fast Ethernet 0/1, and I can write here switch port mode. You can press question mark dynamic and press question mark. You have two options here, dynamic auto. We can write dynamic desirable. Already by default it is auto only. So what I will do here, I will write desirable and press enter. When I do this one side is dynamic desirable, other side is auto. So it will form the trunk. I did not configure trunk, right? But if I check here, show interface trunk is formed, because we have here desirable. So you need to remember, because of DTP protocol, if we configure here dynamic desirable, and if you have here dynamic auto, it will form trunk. Because of DTP, dynamic trunking protocol, because of DTP protocol, it will work. And also if you configure this one as a trunk, this one is a auto, it will form trunk. So we will verify that one also. So what I will do here, I will go again to that interface, config T, interface fast Ethernet 0/1. I can write switch port mode trunk. I configure this one as a trunk. Okay. So if I write show interface trunk, this is trunk by on mode, means manually we configure here. This interface I configure as a trunk, but this one I did not configure. Let's go and check here. If I go and check here, if I write here show interface trunk, show interface trunk. If you see, automatically it become trunk by auto. So what I am saying, if I have here dynamic auto both the side, it will not form the trunk. Then if I configure here dynamic desirable and here is dynamic auto, it will form the trunk. Third condition, just now I configure this side as a trunk, other side I did not configure here. Here is dynamic auto, but it formed the trunk because of DTP. But Cisco recommend manually configure both the side. But even if you configure one side, other side automatically it is going to configure as a trunk. Okay, and we check one more condition also here, DA, dynamic auto here, it will not form the trunk. Dynamic desirable here, dynamic auto here, it will form trunk. Here is trunk, here is dynamic auto, it will form trunk. Okay, and what else we can do here? Same thing you can repeat. Whatever option we done, you can done in this side, and whatever option we done here, you can do that side. Same result you will get. So in simple, what we need to remember? We need to remember here is desirable, here is desirable. Both the side, if we configure dynamic desirable, it will form trunk. And if you want to configure, like if you configure here is trunk and here is dynamic auto, by default you have, it will form trunk. And you can say here is auto, dynamic auto, here is also dynamic auto. So here what we can say, if you see here, if you go here, you can see here dynamic auto. So if we configure dynamic auto both the side, it will not form trunk. If you configure dynamic auto here and here, if you have trunk or desirable, any one from this, it will form auto. Sorry, it will form trunk. And what else we can say? Opposite also, like here will be trunk or desirable, any one from this, switch 1 and switch 2, if it is auto, dynamic auto, it will form trunk. Any doubts, anything what we discussed till now? And comments already we know. Go under that interface and write switch port mode dynamic desirable, switch port mode dynamic auto. Whatever you want to make, you will make this way. As we wrote somewhere, what you will do, example, in the switch 1 we configure, we will go under that interface and we will write switch port mode trunk if you want to make as a trunk, or if you want to move like desirable, you can go under that interface and you can write switch port mode dynamic desirable or dynamic auto. Anything we can do this condition. So in short, you need to remember, if both the side is dynamic auto, if both the switch, then it will not form the trunk. Other than that one, all the option will form the trunk. We need to remember that one. Okay. So now we will go for the last topic, that is native VLAN. So example.